Alright, what is going on, everybody? This is Treasure MC, and I've previously looked at Batman Unmasked and Selena Kyle Unmasked, so today you might think that I'd be looking at the Riddler Unmasked from the Batman movie, but there isn't a variant of this figure. So we just have Mr. Riddler Man from the Batman. So, in case you're wondering what he looks like, here he is next to my Robert Pattinson Batman figure. So, they look about the same, so that's pretty cool. And then here he is with the one and only Spider-Man. So, there is that comparison if you are so inclined to have Spider-Man facing off a serial killer Riddler. In case you wanted to do that, that's what they look like. Now, as far as how tall this guy stands, well, let's find out. If we go from the bottom of his foot to the top of his head, looks like he is pretty much exactly 7 inches. So it's technically like a little bit more than that, but yeah, basically 7 inches. And then 4 centimeters, again going from the bottom of his foot to the top of his head, looks like he's pretty much 18 centimeters. So I think that's pretty good. Now, as far as details are concerned, this is definitely the Paul Dano Riddler from the Batman. Definitely an interesting take. Definitely not a very comic book accurate take. Because I always thought when I saw this movie for the first time, even like before I saw it and I heard like what they were going to do with the character, I thought that it's like, this isn't really Riddler. This is like Riddler meets another Batman villain called Anarchy, Lonnie Mackin. So it's like Riddler meets Anarchy put into one character, and I think it's kind of interesting that they went in that direction. And the design is definitely interesting, where he's like this anonymous guy in a green suit. And I actually like that, and there's a reason for that. Basically, the way I see it is that you could have this figure, like, yes, this is technically Paul Dano Riddler, but this guy could totally work as a Riddler goon. I said that in my video of underrated McFarlane figures. It's kind of an older video on my channel, but do check it out if you're interested. Where basically I said that this guy could work as a specific version of Riddler, but it could also work as a Riddler henchman. So if you have like a million of these guys and you have a Riddler figure, like say the comic book one or the Jim Carrey one or whatever, if you have, that guy and then a whole bunch of these guys, you could say that, oh, it's Riddler and a whole bunch of guys. So, yeah, I think that's pretty cool that this guy's definitely got army building potential. He's got some nice details here, like this little patch here that is a separate piece that has some nice detail. And then he's got some detail on his arms, like the button of his coat, and he's got some like pockets, and he's got like a hood, and that sort of thing. And then he's got these boots, and you can see the details of the boots, of like the laces on them, and like the pants being super baggy and having pockets on that. So yeah, he's got some detail. It's not a lot, and it is kind of muted, but then again, this is what he looked like in the movie, so I think it's more than okay for a look for him. Now, as far as articulation is concerned, it's kind of limited. Because of the way that his head is, how it's kind of wrapped in like, I don't even know what this is, like plastic wrap or whatever, and then he's got like a mask over that and then glasses on top of that. His head doesn't really look up. It looks up about that much, but then it wants to go back down just because of the way that it's sculpted. And it goes down. Again, it's kind of the same thing where it can look down, but then it just goes right back up. You do get a little bit of rotation, like an attitude or whatever, but it doesn't really work because it just kind of goes back. And with the rotation, it's kind of the same thing where basically his head, it does technically have articulation, but just kind of defaults to that. So do beware that he's not really going to be looking around a whole lot. But I guess that could be like, the classic Batman where he would, be moving around like this. So if he's trying to emulate that, then he succeeds. As far as the arms are concerned, they can go up all the way. Well, not all the way like straight up like that, but you get the idea. So they go up like that. And then you do get a rotation all the way around like so. You do get a bicep swivel, which kind of breaks up the sculpt, but that's okay. And then you do get a double jointed elbow. You do actually get a double jointed elbow. It's not so good on that side. Let's see if we can get this one to work. And yeah, there we go. So double jointed elbow. It looks super weird. I don't know why McFarlane sometimes sculpts elbow joints like that and sometimes they don't. But yeah, so that's pretty good. And then he does have articulation in his wrist. It's a ball joint, so it can, kind of go like that, and it can also rotate. So there we go. And then for the torso, you can probably guess that there is torso articulation in here, but because of this thick coat, it doesn't really get in anywhere. So using both of the joints for just the torso, not using the legs, yeah, he can pretty much only do that going backward. And then going forward, it's basically like that. So it's not really that much. There is technically rotation there, but again, just because of the coat, it doesn't really do anything. And then for the legs, with the coat, they only go out about that far. Theoretically, if he didn't have this coat, they could probably go out like all the way, and he could have a lot of articulation. And then going forward, yeah, it's about that much, and going back, it's basically just that. So, yeah, that's not a lot of articulation there, but that's okay, because again, this is what he looked like in the movie, and it's accurate enough, and the guy wasn't super acrobatic in the movie. I mean, he did go for lunges like, like that, but yeah, that's about it. So yeah, and then for the knees, he does have a double jointed knee. He does in fact have a double jointed knee. See, I haven't really tested this guy out, and I've had him for quite a while. But yeah, so he does have a double jointed knee. It'd probably work if I heated this up, but yeah, whatever. You get the idea. It's a double jointed knee, sort of the same thing that almost all these figures have. And then with the ankles, whoa, what's going on here? I don't want to lose my camera while I'm still trying to review this figure. 1 second. There we go. Okay. Now, where was I? I was reviewing the ankles. So my ankles are kind of loose. They're moving around a lot. And I've actually broken my ankle before. So there was a time when my ankle was basically like that. I don't really recommend that. So yeah, but they do go back about that far. They do go forward about that far. You do get a little bit of a rocker there, and then the toe articulation is there. Okay. Yeah, so there is toe articulation. You get the idea. I probably should have heated this figure up, but I don't really have means to do that. I don't have a hairdryer. I don't want a hairdryer, and I don't really like putting these figures in hot water, because then they look kind of weird and you have to dry them off, but yeah, whatever. So you get the idea. This guy's articulation is pretty basic and kind of non-existent, mainly because of this and this. So yeah, just beware of that. I personally don't mind, because again, he looked like this in the movie. He didn't really do a whole lot of acrobatic stuff, so I don't really care. But if you're interested in a guy that's like superposable, then you will be disappointed by this figure. I'm just going to tell you. Now, as far as stuff that he comes with, this is something that maybe I think they could have done differently. You do get a typical display stand. Nothing really to say there. You do get a trading card, which says that this is Riddler, the Riddler from The Batman. And it has a really interesting shot here. You'll see it on the back of the box, but you get a shot of him holding this, like, roll of tape accessory. And we'll talk about that later, but we do also get a little read-up, in case you're wondering which type of Riddler this is and what he's all about. Now, again, he does, in the accessory, the trading card thing, he shows to have a roll of tape accessory. Well, he does not come with a roll of tape. He instead comes with this thing, which is like a carpet remover thing. And if you've seen the movie, you know what this is. He basically uses this to basically take the life of his first victim. And he just kind of bludgeons him with this. Um, so yeah, it does kind of fit loosely in his hand. It's not going to fall out or anything, but it does fit kind of loosely in his hand, and that's the only hand that can hold it because his other hand is a fist, and he doesn't come with alternate hands. And you also notice that his hand is, a trigger. It's like he's supposed to have a gun, but whatever. McFarlane's got a McFarlane, and yeah, so I think that they did kind of miss out on the accessories here, but whatever. If you're trying to army build this guy, you could have, one of them holding this. You could have another one with, a gun or, something like that. Or, it's like, come on, man. You couldn't have given him, like, alternate hands, because I don't have him, but I know that the Penguin figure that's based off of this movie, he came with, like, a whole bunch of alternate hands. So it's like, why couldn't they do that with Riddler? I think that would have worked. Now, one last thing to talk about here is the box. And it has the Riddler name, the Batman, but if this box looks a little bit different to you, it's because for some reason it is different. Just for a quick comparison, here's the box that came with my Batman figure, and it has the name of the movie here, and then it has the name of the figure below. Well, for this one, for some reason, the name of the figure is here, and the name of the movie is further down. The sides are the same. The back is different. With this one, it's basically just one big image of the figure. And then with Riddler, again, you can kind of see the roll of tape accessory that he doesn't have. And then you get some shots of the other figures based off of the movie. And, yeah, so it's cool, but, like, I still don't get what the thing is, like, why is the packaging like that? But, you know what, whatever. It is all good, because, again, I personally would recommend this figure if you want to have, well, for one thing, if you want to build a Matt Reeves Batman collection, you could definitely do that, because you need a Riddler. But I say you could also get, like, at least, like, one or maybe two of these guys and just have them be henchmen for a Riddler figure. I have the Jim Carrey Riddler, and I think this guy works pretty good as a Jim Carrey Riddler henchman, even though the style is a little off, but you know what, it's all good. So, if you enjoyed this video, then do be sure to leave a like, and if you want to stay tuned for other videos, because I do have another video planned for this month that's kind of fitting for the theme, then do be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for that. And if you have any opinions on this figure, if you like it, if you don't like it, if you agree or disagree, then just let me know in the comments, because I'm interested to hear what you have to say. And other than that, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.